What's up, gamers? And today we're going to be talking about the best build for the best, I think, to be standard character in the game, Miss Himeko, the direct upgrade for Jade, okay? I get that Jade came out before, okay? Jade fans, stand your ground, stop. Let's be honest, guys, this is the true shiny version of Jade, and she is absolutely clapping cheeks in Apocalyptic Shadow, Memory of Chaos, and also Pure Fiction. She is clapping cheeks in every single game mode right now, so why not give you the best build for the best standard character, because you might have her on your account. So, guys, without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about kind of what she does, and then let's go ahead and get into that saucy build later, because there's actually two ways you can build her. She's very versatile, our versatile queen. We love her. Anyways, guys, let's go ahead and get into that now. So, guys, the main draw of Himeko's kit, guys, is going to be her follow-up attack. Now, you would think, run her on a follow-up team. That's completely fine if you want to do that, but this also makes her really good for break teams as well, because her whole thing relies off of break, right? So, whenever you weakness break the enemy, guys, she'll be getting 1 point of charge up to a max of 3. After she gets 3 stacks of charge, she'll be launching an immediate follow-up attack on the enemy, hitting every single enemy on the field. And then this skill is going to be hitting one main enemy and then adjacent enemies as well, so it's blast type damage on that, but it doesn't really do much outside of that. The reason why this follow-up attack is so good, though, guys, is 2 reasons right now. 2 in-game reasons, actually. Number 1, Pure Fiction, right? There are so many enemies on the field. If you can break the enemy shield with whoever, because you get charges with whoever breaks enemy shield, it doesn't have to be her, right? You will get a follow-up attack, and with how many enemies are on Pure Fiction, that is a massive amount of damage you're able to do to the enemies. Number 2, though, guys, there is a new mechanic we have in the game right now, mainly in just MOC with the Exo Toughness bar. So this would inherently give her 2 free stacks on any enemy in the game if they have Exo Toughness on them. Yes, I understand. This is only this MOC that this works for, but maybe future characters, wink wink 2.7, wink wink, would have something in their kit, maybe someone with a tail would have something in their kit to apply extra toughness to an enemy, which would then allow Miss Himeko to actually play a lot better on that team. And this also will be giving Himeko diversity of teams as well, because not only could you run her on a crit build, you can also run her on a break build as well, both of which we'll talk about in the build section later in this video. So that's really all I have to mention about the kit here, guys. There's only one other thing that I would make an honorable mention for, which is one of her bonus abilities that gives her increased crit rate if you have max HP on your allies, which gives her 15% increased crit rate if her HP is over 80%. So just make sure she's staying topped up. If you're running her on a crit based build, so you can get free 15% crit rate. Very, very nice there. Absolutely love this ability. Now, gamers, let's get into the fun part, the light cones. The light cones. God, I love Erudition light cones, right? Erudition might be one of the worst classes in the game, but man, are they making a comeback, and man, do they have some good free-to-play light cones you can get. Before we actually talk about the best slot option, guys, there are 2 different ways that you can use her, right? If you're using her for Pure Fiction, this is going to be different from running her on a break build or just an MOC build, right? She has the best overall light cone, in my opinion. She has the best Pure Fiction light cone, and then she has the best break light cone, right? So let's go ahead now and talk about the best Pure Fiction light cone, because that's where I assume most of you are going to be using her at. That's going to be her signature light cone, Into the Milky Way, whatever it's called. I don't have the light cone. I don't use that light cone, but it is a very good option to use. The second best installed option here, assuming that you can keep full uptime on it, would be something like Genius's Repose, right, guys? This is going to be increasing her attack by 24%. Not only that, guys, whenever she defeats an enemy target, she'll be getting an additional 36% crit damage increase for 3 turns. The reason why I say this is really good, and why this is even better now with the new Pure Fiction we're getting, is because enemies will keep constantly respawning in. If you can keep breaking enemy shield, keep getting a follow-up attack, you can almost guarantee yourself a kill every 3 turns with Himeko here. With the sheer amount of enemies that we have on the field, this is going to be her second best in slot option for something like Pure Fiction. Though these light cones really don't work too well outside of Pure Fiction, just because we don't have that many enemies outside of Pure Fiction, so the value of these light cones kind of drop if you're outside of that game mode. So let's go ahead and talk about her best general options, best overall options you can use, right? Eternal Calculus, a free-to-play, yes, free-to-play Her to Shop light cone. This is going to be increasing her speed and attack percentage. Though while this light cone is very structured towards Pure Fiction as well, it's much easier to keep the uptime up on this, especially if there's 3 enemies on the field that you can hit, which if you use a skill attack, you ensure 3 hits anyway, so you're getting free 16% speed from this, and then also you're getting a stacking effect on some of her attack percentage as well. So it depends on how many enemies you hit. If you do a follow-up attack, you'll practically get this up at all times if there are 5 enemies on the field, which for Pure Fiction that would be the case. But out of Pure Fiction, maybe you get 2 or 3 stacks from this. Still a really good option to use here, but still, that's not the only option you can use, because there are still really good options you can use for the Erudition class. Number 1 being, today is another peaceful day. This is a BP light cone. This just gives you an inherent damage percent increase. Still a really good light cone to use, would recommend it. And one of my favorite light cones, guys, is actually going to be the Day the Cosmos Fell. This is a free MOC shop light cone. What this is going to be doing, though, guys, is it's going to be giving you increased attack attack, and then whenever you attack 2 enemies on the field with the same weakness you have, it'll be increasing her crit damage. Guys, as long as you're facing a fire weak enemy, which you should be facing, this is going to pop off all the time. You need 2 fire weak enemies on the field, so maybe if you get in a situation where you're only fighting 1 enemy, this could be very cringe for you, right? If you're facing 1 singular target, this could be cringe for you, okay? If you're facing 1 singular target, I would probably recommend something like the Sears as a breakfast. This could be another really good option for you to use here, just because of the fact it gives you an inherent damage increase, and then it'll giving you an attack increase, which is a lesser buff on kills. So this could be something that is overall good for Himeko. Like I just mentioned a lot of light kills there, I know. We're about to be doing the light kills here in a second, but I do want to mention one honorable mention here, guys, which is after the Charmony Fall, guys. I use this light cone on our break team. I use this light cone on her if I want to use a break Himeko, and I need as much break damage as humanly possible, right? On top of that, it's also going to be increasing her speed too. But realistically, most of the time I just use Eternal Calculus regardless, because attack percent inherently increases the amount of break damage you're doing anyway. So I mean, I just run with Eternal Calculus. Attack is the stat that rules all, basically. So I would be just focusing on getting that attack percentage from Eternal Calculus. Like I said, that's the best overall light gun you can have for her. Now, Giga Gamers, let's go ahead and talk about what her best in slot teams are, because she can be ran on quite a few different teams. First of all, guys, I think a team you should all know she can be ran on, a team with Topaz, right? She can be ran on a follow-up team. Her main stick is follow-up attacks, right? So she can be run on a team with Topaz. She can also be ran on a team with Herta very, very effectively as well. Every single time an enemy goes below 50% HP, Herta goes in kudu, and then hits every single enemy in breaking their shield. And then after the shield breaks, Himeko comes in and wipes it up, and then wipes more enemies down to 50% HP. So Herta comes in and kudu again, and then absolutely destroys the enemy. Herta and Himeko are like a match made in heaven. Would definitely recommend building your Herta, especially for things like Pure Fiction, because both of these work very well, even if they're not on buff, like this current one right now. I was still able to use Himeko and Herta and still get a 3000 score with them, even though it was completely off type for Herta. Still worked there for me. And then also, if you mix in someone like a Topaz too, the enemies will be taking increased vulnerability to follow-up attacks, which is kind of what Himeko's bread and butter is there. But another option you could use in terms of team would be a super break team with Harmony MC. That's actually what I use this MOC 12 to beat side 1. I beat side 1 within 3 cycles using Himeko, just Himeko on a full send break team, right? You not only on a break team with Harmony MC. I didn't use Ruan Mei. I used Firefly Hero, or you could run really any other sub DPS there as well. Like you could opt in to run something like a Hunt March 7th there. That could work. And if you have Rappa, I think this is a really good option, especially against fire weak enemies, because you're able to break those enemies' toughness so much quicker, which means Rappa has more time to do damage while the enemies are broken, and then Himeko has more time to break as well, or you break the enemies more effectively, so she gets more follow-up attacks as well. So very, very nice comps. Those are the comps that I recommend. Follow-up comp, Herta comp, and then also a break comp as well. Now let's go ahead and talk about the bread and butter, right? The relics, right? But before we talk about that, I'm gonna scam you. Subscribe to the channel, guys. Come on. Come here. Please subscribe to the channel. I beg of you guys. The channel's been going in a decline, and I would do anything for a subscribe. Anything. Anyways, guys, let's go ahead and talk about those best in slot relics now, because she has a bunch of different relics that you can run for her. Her best in slot overall set, guys, is going to be the 4-piece Ashblade set. The reason why this is going to be the best in slot 4-piece set, guys, is because of the fact that she does follow-up attacks. She hits 5 enemies on the field. It hits multiple times. She'll be having a 100% uptime on this as long as you're breaking the enemy shield and getting this off. And it doesn't really matter when you do the follow-up attack as well, because if you do it infrequently, it's fine, because it only resets off of follow-up attacks, meaning her skill and ultimate move will be doing pretty good amounts of damage as well. Even if you're not breaking the enemies, you're still getting the damage increase for those attacks. Obviously, you get the pretty juicy 20% damage bonus to follow-up attacks as well. You can run 4-piece Prisoner or the Deep Confinement, and the reason why I say you can run this set here is because one of her bonus effects allows her to put fire debuff on the enemy. So if you have effect hit rate built in there, and you have a debuff oriented team, this could work. This could give you a lot of damage here, guys. So just another set that I'm putting on the table for you guys to run here. That's only if she has a decent effect hit rate that she can actually proc this off and then double the crit rate and crit damage that she's getting. That's when it becomes the best. Now let's get into the other side of things, the break set, right? You can run a 4-piece with this new Iron Cavalry set here, guys. And then you're increasing her break effect as well for those break-oriented teams, or I guess super break-oriented teams there. So this could work really well there. And then that kind of leads us into the planner set as well. If you're running her on a break team, then obviously a 2-piece Forge here would be great. Gives her speed, and then it'll be giving an extra 40% break damage bonus as well, as long as you're attacking fire weak enemies, which you should be attacking anyways. Like I mentioned before, you can run her on a team with Firefly if you want to. You can run her on a team with Rappa if you want to, right? If you're running on a team with Firefly, you'll always have this up. So very, very good there if you want to run like a dual DPS Firefly team for whatever reason, or even like the future, if we get another DPS as a break DPS, dual DPS on that team could work as long as they're fire weak, so you can break the enemy shield. This will be a really good set to run her. In terms of the other set you can run though, guys, I just honestly recommend 2-piece Salsado. It gives you an inherent crit rate increase, which is just going to be really nice to get in those crit ratios in check, and then it'll be giving you a damage bonus to follow-up attacks and ultimate attacks, which is her main source of damage. You could also run Sigonia as well. Sigonia is going to be good because it also gives you a crit rate increase, but then it can also give you a 40% crit damage increase as well, so that's also really nice to have. Inazumo can work if you're really lacking on crit rate and you're using her on a team with Herta. This is like very good. Like I mentioned, the combo between Herta and her, they're both your addition characters, so therefore you're able to take use of getting the additional crit rate here, which can help her out getting her crit ratios in check. If you're running her in normal comp, I really do think Inert Salsado is the way to go though. Now let's go ahead and talk about those best stats. You guys want to know what the stats are. You guys want to know what the recommended stats are. So let's go ahead and start off with these main stats first. On the body, guys, you're going to be wanting to either get crit rate or crit damage. Obviously, you want to make sure you're getting those crit ratios in check. On the feet, guys, is going to be attack percentage. On the planar set, guys, is going to be fire damage or attack percentage. And then on the rope is going to be attack percentage. Now, guys, I said on the feet it's going to be attack percentage. Realistically, it can be attack or speed. It's as long as you can hit the break point, it's fine. Me personally, I use her for just strictly follow-up attacks because she's realistically just doing follow-up attacks when you break the enemy shield. You don't really need her to do anything to do those follow-up attacks other than her not to be CC'd and just be breaking enemy shields, right? Which makes her, that's one of the reasons why she's so good, right? Because she can attack so many times off turn. If we're talking about the break team that I mentioned before, guys, if I'm running her there, literally, I have her on attack boot. She's hitting 80 to 90k follow-up attacks, every single follow-up attack, and she's hitting them like this right here. So you're just doing buku's amounts of damage on a team like that, and not to mention what she can do in pure fiction as well for you. So very, very good option there. Would recommend 100% to run attack percent boots. So now let's go ahead and talk about the recommended stats. Realistically, crit rate, crit damage, attack percentage, and then also speed as well if you want to run her a bit faster. If you're running her in Memory of Chaos, if you're running her a normal ass build in Memory of Chaos, then maybe I would recommend speed here. If you're running her on a break team, wouldn't recommend it. If you're running her on pure fiction, wouldn't recommend any speed here. But in terms of what you're wanting to aim for here, guys, on the attack, I would aim for at least 2,500 here. On the crit rate, at least 65%, and then on the crit damage, at least 130%. Now, obviously, you can get more of these stats, guys. I'm just recommending a baseline, a minimum for you guys. But this is all that I really have to talk about in terms of stats. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section down below. But now we gotta talk about something, guys. Something that I told you guys we talk about at the beginning of the video. Why you as a free-to-play player should be building Himeko. Guys, I think Himeko is going to age like fine wine. She already has aged like fine wine, let's be honest, guys. And if you want to see a full video on that, make sure you subscribe and leave in the comment section down below of what I think my top 5 characters that age like fine wine are. But red is wine, just like her hair. She's going to be faring quite nicely in the future. And the reason I think this, guys, is because where the future meta is going, right? Not to mention the current meta we have in the game right now. We can talk about that really quick. Right now in pure fiction, an absolute menace for it, beating shit in 3 cycles, doing 80k for on super break teams, on break teams, right? Like, she is an absolute menace to society right now. But the main thing I want to bring up is her talent, right? Her talent plays off of how many times you break the enemy shield. Maybe in a future patch, maybe we get a character that allows us to break enemy shields more. Maybe we get a character that allows us to break the enemy twice. So we're getting double the breaks, which means she gets double the follow-up attacks. You get where I'm going with this, right? Basically, what I think is going to be the future for her, or what I think defines her future, I should say, is her talent plays off of breaking, right? Like, it is a very niche thing to play off of breaking, like we have Rappa in the game right now, which I also think is going to age like fine wine. She is going to play off of breaks as well, and I think that's going to be one of the future metas for break-oriented teams. It is such a niche in the break, and I feel like that's what break's going to divide into. As of now, we've had like super break, right? I think we're going to have instant type break characters as well, where the more instants you get, the more damage they're able to do or something like that. Or maybe we get a super break stacking effect with how many times you break the enemy equals how many times or how many buffs you get, maybe something like that, right? But I think instance-based breaking is going to be one of the future metas you can plan on in 4.0 or 3.0 and beyond. Oh, I said 4.0, that's way far in the future, but 3.0 and beyond. That's just where I kind of see the game going, and that's why I think that you should build her up right now. I think she is going to define the future meta for you, and I think she is really good right now, honestly, guys. I think she should be higher than where she's at in the tier list. I think she is one of the best units in the game, standard units at that you can get completely free to play at 300 pulls. You can get her free, or maybe you lost a 50-50. Anyways, guys, that's going to do it for today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully I taught you something important today or something useful today. Anyways, if I did, leave a subscribe on the video, leave a like on the video for the interaction. Let me know what you think of this mommy of a body right here in the comment section down below. Anyways, guys, that's going to do it for today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one later. Bye-bye. Sorry, that's weird.